learned from the lesson. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a little, but I still reinvest it. Fear how I feel, then you feel like a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down, hold it down, we gon' get it. Working.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got your watches coming in as September 17th, 2020, and the stock market didn't like Powell. Well, that's at least what I got out of it. Today was a very, very big, important day. Powell came on, he said a lot of things, and even then it was all good and dandy. It seemed pretty normal, even though we were expecting a lot, but then he did say some stuff that was kind of groundbreaking. We got some hints, but he said something that didn't really give support to the markets regarding bubbles, and then we saw things go down. But there was a lot that happened today. We had that. We had the IPO lesson. Snowflake IPO'd. We have shares. We'll go over that play. If you missed the IPO lesson on stream, go back to when this stock was available, like 3 hours into the market. We had a nice, fun lesson. If you missed that, well, I mean, go watch it. It was great. But there was still a lot from Powell, a lot we have to watch. And really, I'm going to be watching for the dollar moving forward to kind of pick a direction. So even though I think the market didn't like it in the grand scope of things, this wasn't really a big move today. It kept still a very, very tight range, but usually the direction the first 2 days after and then following is going to be interesting. So we have that. We have Tik Tok stuff. There's vaccine stuff. Even the high tickers popping after hours. So there is a lot of stuff. The rest of the week should be exciting. So got the plays, got the keys, everything we're watching for the rest of the week, and that is it. So let us not delay. You guys know what you need to do. Drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed. And if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open. It's the first link in the description, and it is pinned in the comments. We better see you there in the morning. It's free $99. It costs you nothing to join. YouTube.com/the stock market. You can post the plays, see the plays, watch the watch list come to life. And yes, if you ever want to play an IPO without having to play it and live vicariously through somebody and get to experience it and learn about it and all that, well, you should come check it out. We love you. God bless you. And the most important thing you need to do, post your watches below. Let us know what you're looking at. Got any plays, comments, remixes, anything, post them below and source that info. Shout out to Chad, BB. And, you know, my voice has been kind of clapped lately, but we should take this moment to honor some amazing people. A lot of mods had some birthdays in September, so shout out to the moderators. Shout out to Shavar. That's his birthday today. Yesterday was Chris and UMAD birthday day, UMAD day of the year, so we love you. God bless you all. Shout out to the mods, baby. They keep Chattadonia safe. But right off the bat, we have a lot of things to talk about. So there's Powell himself said the guidance was powerful, and I thought it was confusing, as did a few of the other people on that press conference, or I guess it's a Fed meeting just on Zoom. But the key points that were brought up, I mean, one point I didn't put on here. The main thing that I saw, and it didn't get as attention, and Powell didn't want to give it too much attention, was the fact that there was 2 dissenting board members. Now, said it was a slight dissension. It wasn't like a full, complete disagreement. But the thing that stood out to me is that this is the first meeting in a long time, I'm pretty sure all year, that we have seen a dissent on any of these meeting. So even if it was slight. So there was that. However, it seems from the press conference and what Powell was talking about, the key points are going to be that inflation target. So they're expecting to meet it by 2023, not throughout. So it's very, very interesting because it just really didn't make any sense. We saw what he said at Jackson Hole. He's saying they're going to kind of average down on inflation. We're expecting to let it run hot a little bit, but at the same time, every year up until 2023, inflation isn't supposed to have an effect based on their projections, or a minor one. It's so pretty much saying it's going to take us 3 years to fully get there. So there was that, and then other comments, and now this started to coincide with the market dropping. Pretty much, he said one thing about not supporting the market, or not really factoring in asset bubbles. He answered that question, but then it all came in line with what he said, that unemployment would be a lot larger. He said that he's expecting slack when things come back to normal. And then he said the recovery is already here. So that puts a different spin on things, or maybe that hasn't fully been communicated to the market. But even for the main point this week, again, it's confusing. We're going to bring this up a lot more. But the thing I would say is watch for the follow-up this whole entire week. That is going to be the most important thing, I would say. But to piggyback what he was saying off of the recovery already being here and how that can affect things, the analogy that I gave, it's that it seems like the transmission has been rebuilt, and Powell wants to see how we break it in, and he's talking about the economy pretty much. He's saying we've already recovered, so now if you've already recovered, the only thing you can expect is now slack from not recovering. So this is an interesting point, and that's why I think this is really going to set us up for future Fed meetings. So we'll definitely be covering that. We'll be watching that very, very closely. But these were some of those big hints we were looking for. Now, there's still a lot to go over. Remind me to go over all of this stuff because we have a lot of notes from the event. These were all the notes that we took during the questions and everything else. And at one point, it started to stay on the same. Again, there was no new information, but there was a few things that he said that we're going to go over. So I want to watch this on stream because, like I said myself, I want to really understand why he says this guidance is so powerful, because it seems like he was more confident about that, but none of the report data projections, anything really added up to that, or at least in my opinion. So I want to be looking into that. We will be going over this on stream. So remind me, however, that is going to kind of take over this week. I wouldn't be surprised to see follow-ups. And I'll even say the market can now move. Market was kind of moving a little bit. We saw some volatility, but now with Powell prepared, it can move up or down, or kind of let some slack in the market. The leash will get let go a little bit. We could expect it to move without an immediate event in the near term, or at least towards the end of the month. But that being said, the final thing, we talked about that. It's back in focus. The Tik Tok deal, it's looking like a soft landing. Like I told you guys the other day or in the beginning of the week, that if they do get an extension, it seems like that will be just to kind of soften the blow. However, we will have a briefing tomorrow. President said he's going to do that, and now they're lobbying against it. Marco Rubio is back. He's been very, very anti-China. He doesn't like ByteDance, all that. So they're now lobbying against it, and it seems like now you're definitely getting some more pushback. They're saying no deal like this, no deal like that. But like we've talked about, given how it has to get approved in China, there's just no way this gets solved in 4 days, 5 days, anything of that nature. But that being said, we played this off of the plays, and I think it's a dud now at this point. We will see. Shout out Mr. Hitch, though. He may be way, way ahead on this through the DeLorean, but this is totally a rumor. We saw this. We made a play on it, and this is just even highlight, maybe if they were trying to navigate some partnership or kind of like a trade. I'm honestly just think like an NBA trade, but Mr. Hitch dropped this news that there might be allowing WeChat, but I honestly don't even know if he was even joking around or not at this point, because I saw some people talk about it in the past. I've seen some people tweet about it, but it has not really gained traction. But I could see that as something where if they come in saying we're willing to trade this for that, or we're pretty much going to allow Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp to come in America and maybe lead to some talks of those, I wouldn't be surprised. However, at the end of the day, it looks like all of this is going to be a dud. So it could even set up some of those puts, or we're already positioned for that. So that is pretty much it. Tomorrow is still going to be exciting, and the rest of the week, get ready for the Powell hangover. But that is pretty much it. So let us get into the plays. So right off the bat, even with that rumor news, I got the Walmart calls, and kind of the news sounded, again, when I heard about it, it sounded ridiculous. But at the same time, we did see Oracle start to move. It actually started dropping again. This was about there being like questions about the deal or something, but I grabbed the Walmarts right before in the play I got, and you could tell I grabbed 10 of these at 15 cents. So I spent $150. Remember, I had $1,000 and those were completely clapped in the 300s, I think, or the 200s. So got to get closer to the money. Didn't need to spend as much, got to average down, but I didn't need to put that much more. So I put 150 into it and give it to it. I was like, I don't know, but the logic I had is that if anything, Walmart has already got the beat down from some of the negative TikTok news. Again, Oracle has been the winner, so they have a little bit more meat on the bones, but even given the volatility and how it's moving, it's becoming a little hard to play. So those put plays got trashed, and then they came right back up. So they're still slightly below break even, but I'm going to see. So I will be watching Walmart. I did sell out of those McDonald's we were holding. We got some of that Travis Scott news. It hit a little different. They said something regarding demand with the burgers, but they didn't give numbers on what they were selling. So again, I'm pretty much expecting to reposition, keep those two for free just in case, but watch the time premium because McDonald's has been on an absolute terror, especially considering even the day we saw today. But watch them. Then the next play I made this morning, and I'm still going to be watching these, I think for a continuation, but I really, really got clapped. FedEx calls. So I grabbed these in the morning. I spent a little bit more. I spent $600. They were 60 cents a pop. They ended up going down like 50%. I botched it completely. I had an exit. I had an entry to make it free and everything. These are the next weeks, and they were very, very cheap. It met my criteria in the morning, where pretty much, they had their earnings, they were up. These contracts were at $1.30. So I was like, hey, if I get them at 60 cents, I was like, all right, I could justify that. I thought they were a little bit cheaper here, but I got them in the morning. They shot up to $1. So, and again, you could even see it. It was like a nice shoot up. This wasn't like I got in right here. They dropped on us. They even went down. They were very, very volatile. So that's why I even like this play still. It's kind of that earnings move in it, but they dropped, but then the stock started ripping up. We had a great opportunity to make them free, and I just didn't take it. Like, even the way down, it wasn't even like a fast decline, so I'm still holding them. They're down now about over 50%, but I'm still going to be watching those. We'll ride those out. Those, unfortunately, don't have as much time, though, but watch those. And then finally, the last thing I'm going to be looking for, again, I will be looking even maybe Oracle puts, depending on the prices, but I want to see how everything responds, but given the context, and it seemed like they moved independently, but Citi, so I talked about them. I think they have a target on their back with some of this Fed stuff, and I even think they moved kind of independently from the Fed today. The banks, they all went up some more than others, but with Citi being the leader, again, they've been selling off pretty hard. So I want to watch them. I want to set up, again, this is going to be probably a multi-day play. I don't know when I'm going to get into it, but I'm looking for it. It's all about the pricing and kind of how things develop. But September 30th is that deadline, I think, for the stress test thing. So could end up not being a non-event as well, too. But that is pretty much what we're watching for besides anything the Fed hangover creates. And then there was the Snowflake IPO. So I'm in this fully still. I have the full position, and we had a fun lesson on it talking about pretty much the criteria for IPOs using volume, supply, and demand, but also kind of seeing how it played out. So we got a little bit crazy with it. We had some fun. Ended up with 30 shares, which is still like $7,000. I mean, it doesn't seem like that much. These are 30 expensive shares, but we ended up closing down 6% because they sold off. We were up a little bit at one point. Could have got maybe like one free share, but decided to hold it. Again, it met the criteria. It did turn the whole float. We will see, but this reminds me a lot of Encino, and a lot of people, surprisingly, even though it did open up a lot, people are still saying it's not that hyped valuation-wise, which I find very, very interesting. So we will see, but go watch that lesson. You could learn a lot from that. I'm still holding that completely, so keep track of it. We'll talk about it on stream. As far as everything else, watch Netflix. They're moving a line again. There was everything was all over the place. Watch the winners and losers again. Even McDonald's killed it, but I like both of these companies. I trimmed that position on the McDonald's. We're going to see. I also got shares of Snapchat too. I got some on that big Robinhood account. We're playing around with the IPO, so I said, might as well burn one, get 100 shares. Someone said, you could have bought 100 shares. So I was like, you're right, I will. So good reminder, thank you. So watch Snapchat too. We even have those calls, and those are actually still holding up a little bit, which I like. They're kind of all over the place, but Snap's at a really good spot. Watch them. Watch DraftKings. Our shares have really been killing it. They did a deal with the New York Giants today, I believe, so that was good. Shopify and Spotify too. These are the bigger growth movers, and like I'm saying, pay attention to that rotation. You saw some interesting moves. Spotify got clapped on Amazon news that they're getting into like podcasts, but then Shopify was down like 3-4%. So that was interesting. Watch them. Even Abivai, again, they dropped even for the long term. Got a deposit in 2 weeks, and then that next month will be the dividend. So keep that in mind. But to counteract even the values, watch that kind of back and forth between HD and McDonald's because they didn't do as good. So again, McDonald's has really been doing its things. Watch them. Watch Oracle again. We'll see how that news plays out. And then finally, TLT, you're starting to see things kind of move out of this range, but the one thing, like I said, is the dollar. That is going to be key, and usually if it's pointing up or down day after the Fed meeting, it kind of will continue in that direction, so we'll see. It seems like things might be trending up, but a lot can change tomorrow, so get ready. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're hydrated, healthy, ready to go. Make sure you post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. I need you to not forget. Don't sleep on it, baby. Have no fear. Say it out loud. That's all you need, baby. Some can be devoured. Some cannot be. Oh, man. But the cold loves you. I love you. And we'll see you in the morning. Let's go.